Hi, and welcome to the podcast for Solomon Staircase Masonic Lodge number 357, where we talk about all things related with Freemasonry, including Hermetic teachings, philosophy, reason, spirituality, and much more. We're located in Buena Park, Southern California. Tune in as we continue to update our podcast with informative talks and articles for Masons worldwide and those who would like to inquire within.
Thank you for downloading this episode of our podcast. Why Freemasonry? The earliest and best known of the English handlers of London free and accepted Masonry in the 1720s were Dr. Anderson, who wrote the Book of Masonic Constitutions, and Dr. Oliver, who wrote extensively on Freemasonry. Briefly, there were other notables at the time, of course, who simply studied its background and the known initiatory doctrines of antiquity, Ashmole, de Sagalier, etc., who realized its power in their era as both a movement for the edification of worthy men and a possible means as a catalyst for advancing and even hastening the development of society toward a greater potential, including the promulgation of constitutional governance and rights. This would be accomplished through an elevated man who became a Freemason, initiated into a spiritual brotherhood, pursuing knowledge, promoting civility, and perhaps achieving a higher plane of wisdom. The test of veracity for this view can be observed in the way Freemasonry instigated in the world so much improvement in doing exactly what it implied. Subsequent Masonic authors added to our degrees, Colcott, Preston, Webb, each drawing from sources available to them, shaping them into what we practice today. And indeed, many others have attempted to explain and interpret the craft, collectively writing thousands of books, pamphlets, compendiums, encyclopedias, handbooks, papers, and speeches. But none of them invented Freemasonry from scratch. The lore from the stonemasons was probably reshaped by the prominent group of learned insiders, additionally in Francis Bacon, Isaac Newton, J.D., and from other influential sources, Templar and church architects, Rosicrucians, alchemists, who knew it had existed in different forms under different names and was practiced in different historical settings, wherever stone monuments were erected. It is likely beyond our reach to know precisely its complex evolution, but one acknowledgement is true. Freemasonry is perennial, relevant now, and will be in the future, wherever a motivated individual wishes to advance toward the light. John McCarger, Master. From the West, why Freemasonry? The lunar circle or society in England that had its monthly meetings on Mondays nearest to the full moon to have ample light for the evening was started in the 1750s as a group of natural philosophers comprising many renowned Freemasons. Promotion of natural philosophy was the aim, as was evident from the historical work of Freemasons like Erasmus Darwin, a physician poet and a Freemason who had a marked effect on his grandson Charles Darwin, the father of evolution. Another friend of Erasmus Darwin was Benjamin Franklin, who influenced him with his lightning rod experiments that helped him use spirits and fairies to symbolize elements that evolved into his work on the artificial production of life and regeneration of nature. Matthew Bouton, another Freemason from Lunar Society, teamed up with fellow James Watt, a Freemason, to manufacture steam engines. Their exclusive patent until 1800 and beyond kick-started the modern industry. Another member of Lunar Society was Joseph Priestley, a minister, philosopher, and remarkable scientist who discovered oxygen and was a supporter of the American and French revolutions. Yet another fellow member was Samuel Galton Jr., the inventor of muzzle guns. Such harmony of intellect came with the common thinking and structured foundation of brotherhood. Time remembers the deeds of great men by shining the light a little further and noting that down in history. Even James Cook of the Club of Longitude, who traced the western seas as a Pacific explorer and discovered the Hawaiian Islands and east coast of Australia, and James Harrison, the inventor of the clock, were Freemasons. Talent seeks the seekers. Noble contention of who best can work and best agree. Kindness is the highest form of intelligence, as it is the ability to observe without evaluating. Freemasonry seeks to find the truth muzzled in confusion, to finally arrive at clarity with the light of knowledge. Seekers and explorers of the contemporary world decisively prove that without Freemasonry there was no modern world. The maps that were carved, the knowledge in various fields that shone the light of progress on humankind, With a pompous message of universal brotherhood embedded in this craft, it is sufficient to say Freemasons have evaded existential threats to the planet in a composite and untiring fashion that brings out fruits of human toil and spreads evenly on one and all. Speculative Freemasonry revolves around individual moral and intellectual development. Despite having successfully accomplished in many aspects of life, there is still a quest to seek more light as the true definition of Freemasonry. This comes out an enlightened man reaching for the path to salvation, leaving behind traces for others to follow and walk on. If you would take, you must first give, and set this fire of talent to a new genius while knowing for sure that you know nothing. A three-step process of physical, mental, and spiritual growth does something similar to invoke the possibility of eternal wisdom. Let the symbols, motifs, and designs remind you and aid you in quenching a burning desire to find out why Freemasonry. Shivam Sharma, Senior Warden. I'm salivating, I'm fumbling, I'm grasping. I'm a beast. But I'm something more. I'm a man. What makes me more than a beast? It must be these thoughts in my head. I think, therefore I am. Is that what makes me different? Are these thoughts what set me apart? What are your thoughts? What am I? What am I? What can I become? Who am I? Where am I going? What do I feel, and why do I feel? Do animals think these thoughts? I cannot say. But I know that I do. I know that I think, therefore I am. That means I can become something, that I can grow. I can become, I can share, and I can help others grow. So do we live as beasts, or do we think and use our ability to perceive? Is this a question? Is this a choice? I think we have very little choice in the matter once we know the matter. Is this the light? Knowing the difference between being and beginning to be more than just being. We were endowed with limbs, lungs, a heartbeat, an actual heart to feel, to guide us in our glorious mind. What a gift, what a splendid, glorious gift, to have a mind and a heart to guide us to grow, to share these feelings with our blessed mouth and our blessed gift of speech. What choices are choices when there is no choice but the right choice? What gift is a gift if it never gets unwrapped? What gratitude is offered if the present isn't held up in thanksgiving? This is the gift of my thoughts now. I am now more than a beast. I think, therefore I have become. That was written by Robert Schultz, who was, at the time, in March of 2023, our Tyler. Why Masonry? There are many reasons, but one reason is charity. Surely you're aware of Masons or Shriners visiting children's hospitals and donating collectively large sums of money. Or maybe you're aware of our Masonic homes for the elderly that are supported by Masonic donations. How about the baseball mitts donated to underprivileged kids? Do that using the Masons for Mitts link. Locally, in Solomon Staircase Lodge, we conducted a canned food drive for Thanksgiving and donated hundreds of cans to the Boys and Girls Club. Charity is only one reason why we are Masons. And that was written by Farrell Cooley. And we'll finish up this episode with the editor's notes, and yours truly is the editor of the Trestle Board. It's Thursday. See you at Lodge. Okay, maybe I won't see you at Lodge anytime soon, but the point is, block out Thursday nights from now until the end of time for Lodge. I know, it's my anniversary. It's my wife's birthday. I have a child being born. I'll be on vacation. I'm sick. Okay, these are all valid reasons for not being at Lodge and things you should always put before Lodge. But if you're in town and you are well and there's no family commitments, you should be at Lodge. Why? Well, let me tell you why. One of the ways you become a better man, better husband, better father is by consistently being around other good men. You build stronger friendships, you get good advice, you share your fears, hopes, and dreams. You have a group of men that are your friends as well as your brothers. Okay, what else? How's your ritual? If it isn't ritual competition ready, you should always be looking to improve on it. Better enunciation, better pronunciation, better floor work, better memorization, all come with practice. Maybe you are close, but not quite correct in a lecture, prayer, or obligation. Maybe you just can't quite get the order correct. Come on down and rehearse. Isn't it a beautiful thing to see a degree or ceremony put on where you can tell the team has rehearsed and not only knows the work, but puts feeling into it and brings it to life. I myself love seeing good ritual done. So you're thinking, hey, my ritual's great. What else you got? How about education in Masonry? Yes, you can learn at Lodge. There are Masonic education nights, officers' school of instruction, district schools of instruction, guest speakers, and sometimes just good old-fashioned heavy-duty discussions on Masonry. Do you have a burning question about Masonry you want answered? Maybe a question you just want to discuss? Maybe something you want clarified to see if you get it. Maybe you have had an epiphany and you want to share it with the guys. All great reasons to get to Lodge. Anything else? Well, for me, it is the fellowship that brings me back more than anything else. Moving to a small town in Nevada, I was like an addict quitting cold turkey. Not only am I away from my home lodge, but the local lodge I join hardly ever meets, and when they do, I'm often traveling. I need to be around good men. I need to be around men I could get to know, and I need to start building friendships where Pam and I can have other couples to do things with. So I did what anyone will do these days, and I got on the internet. What did I find? There was another local lodge that is way more active and meets every Tuesday night, regardless of whether it is a stated meeting, a degree, a practice, or just time to hang out. I've started going there every week I'm in town and already getting to know the guys and also participating in degrees. It was what I needed, and I'm looking forward to Tuesday nights. Below is the inspiration for the article. It is on the Carson Valley 33 website that I check all the time to see what's going on. So take this, change it to Thursday, and get to Lodge. You'll be glad you did. And the image is basically it's just a little saying. It's almost like a meme, but it's got the square and compass, and what it says is, it's Tuesday, see you at Lodge, and that's on their website. And with that finishes up the March 2023 Trestle Board. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a comment. We enjoy hearing from our listeners. If you really like what you heard, share this podcast with your friends and lodge members. Visit us online at solomonstaircase.org.